there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. Yeah. Don't make assumptions about any beautiful women. I'm specifically talking about beautiful women, not just some above average woman. I'm talking about a beautiful woman. Now, I know I've talked about reading a woman, and today on my sit down video, I talked about telling them by their clothing. But even then, you still can't tell everything. I would give a read at about a good 75%. Because, for example, like with the clothing piece, a woman could be wearing some conservative clothing, but underneath, she got some, as Ugly Wanda would say, back on In Living Color, lingerie. In fact, I knew this one woman, and very, very attractive, and she was wearing just an ordinary shirt. It was a button-down shirt and some khaki pants. But let's just say I got a look, and she was wearing some thongs. But even then, this is overall about beautiful women. And I got the idea to do this because anybody who follows me a long time know I do my videos early. So the sit down videos I do for next week, my main sit down videos on this channel, my deep thought videos, and my Money Matters videos, I do them a week early. And one of the videos I did was about avoiding making assumptions. And I used the example of this beautiful young lady. I mean, she in her 50s now and still very beautiful. But she was actually the first person who supported me when I wanted to be a writer. In fact, when we had reconnected a few years ago on Facebook, and I said, I have to thank you. I'm in the position I'm in now, mainly because of her. She was the first woman to really believe in my writing ability. I mean, really believe in it. Not just say, oh, can you write or anything? Shit, we even wrote something together. We even wrote a play together. I mean, it was something, but... And she was interesting because she was big on like science fiction. She was into UFOs, stuff like that. But if someone were to see her, they wouldn't think that. They would think she was bougie. They would think, a dude had to have a lot of money to get with her. And it's like, nah. In fact, she was very nerdy. She had a nerdy side to her. And one of the things I've noticed with a lot of guys when they meet a beautiful woman, well, first of all, they automatically assume she got a high account. And I've actually talked about that before, and some guy came on there, of course they have a high account. No. Just because a bunch of men might want them don't mean they sleeping with a bunch of men. In fact, I remember what a photographer, friend of a friend, said one time, and he was talking about women he would photograph for that magazine, Jet Magazine. He had photographed several Jet Beauties of the Week, and he said they're lonely. And I've talked with a lot of beautiful women, and they would just be into different stuff. I talked about this in my book, Meeting Attractive Women. You never know. You can't just look at them and make an assumption. Because I thought about this other young lady that I knew when I was working at one of my many gyms. And she looked like a grown Barbie. I mean, she was naturally blonde, blue-eyed, and, had that nice slim body. Not just slim, but nice slim body. And, I mean, she was drop-dead gorgeous. But it was funny. I always remember what she said one time, because she was a dog trainer, and she would use the word bitch in its proper context, talking about female dogs. And she talked about this one female dog who had killed this male dog for trying to mate with her when she wasn't trying to mate. She killed the dog. And I never forget what she said. She said, yeah, the bitch killed him. I'm going to tell you what. You just never know. You never know. Because I met several beautiful women, and yeah, they look good, but then when you talk to them, they can be into whatever. Like, some of my favorite political discussions was with this very beautiful Argentinian woman. I mean, that's all we would talk about was just politics. We would just talk about politics. You know, I mentioned the one with science fiction, and they would just be into different things, dog training, whatever. But see, one of the mistakes many men make is when they meet a beautiful woman, they automatically make an assumption. Oh, she got a high count, or she won't deal with somebody like me. You don't know. You don't know. In fact, I always mention that one swan. That one young lady, I said is a swan. I better slow down. Oh, okay. That's weird. Anyway, there's one young lady who was a swan. I just found out she just got engaged to, I'll just say the guy, he wouldn't be considered a Chad, but she just got engaged. But she was real cool. See, when you meet a beautiful woman, yeah, she got some great genetics and all of that, but you don't know what her personality is like. You don't know what she's into. Shoot. Talking about my friend who had been into science fiction. Shoot, you go to some of these cosplays, you see some of these cosplay women, and it'd be some very attractive women there. Remember going to the comic book store, there would be some very attractive women there. You don't know what that woman's into. The best you can do is talk to them. Seriously, just talk to them. You don't know. And even you don't know what type of guy they want. Because I always use the example of a model might be with some big old dude, big hominy grit eating dude, got a little bit of a gut on him or something. And I know some guys will be like, why would she want him? Why would she want him? Because it's something about that dude. If that woman, like if she's a model, if she has some abandonment issues, she might want a guy who's not going to abandon her. Or she might be that woman who's real intellectual. Like I've met quite a few very beautiful women, very intellectual. Like I said, there was that one who was I could always talk politics with. There was another one, and my inner circle know who she is. And let's just say she has a bit of fame, but she's into veganism. She's into veganism and doing yoga and stuff. You don't know what a woman is ultimately about. Yeah, you can do a good read on her. You can see some basics, but a read is never 100%. You never know that woman until you talk to her. But see, one of the mistakes, like I use the example all the time of, I was on this job and this young dude, he would talk to all of these women, right? He would always talk to these women. But there was this one very attractive woman he was scared to talk to. But shoot, she was down for some stuff, because I remember that was around the time of the Million Man March. And she had some poems in support of that march. She was more on some, I would say some black nationalist stuff. Very beautiful, but that's where her head was. You don't know until you talk to these women. You got to get to know them. Just because she's beautiful, she got good genetics, she still got a brain. She still got a personality. She could be into anything. And I'm going to tell you something about one of the things I noticed with them. They not as big on a man's looks as long as he's presentable. Because if a woman is a 9 or 10, she's used to being the most attractive in the room. And I know some guys some guys say, well, there ain't really any chance. No, just go with what I'm saying. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Don't be stupid on here. Seriously, I don't like that. I don't like motherfuckers try to be smart like that. All right, y'all know what I'm talking about. Very attractive women. You don't know what they into. Shoot, I knew this woman who had been in a beauty contest. She was going out with this nerdy dude for a long time. Because the one thing with the beautiful women that I found, beauty ain't a big deal for them. They don't have to go for that like really great looking guy as long as he's presentable. As long as he's presentable. More than anything else, they looking for that guy that can click with personality wise. And that's very important. That is very important. Because you get see, a lot of dudes thinking, oh, they don't have personality, they ain't count. Hold up. If you're talking about a relationship, I don't care how much sex y'all have, how much y'all be in public, holding hands, whatever. You gotta talk to each other. And one thing with very beautiful women, they will look for that guy they click with personality wise. The best way to get with them is to find out what's up with them. Now, you still want, this ain't saying you just going to have to just be some bum out there. You still got to present your best. And they still checking that out. But you don't have to be like in a position where you're better, where you like some child or something like that. You do have to be presentable, but they looking for somebody they can talk to. Because another thing with very beautiful women, a lot of guys scared to talk to them. Like that young lady who said, and the bitch killed him. She used to love talking to me. Because even people in her own office, like the guys might have wanted to work out with her, but I had signed up her own office, and the women in her office didn't like her. They say, we just don't like her. But, you know, in my position, I was a sales manager at this particular gym, one of my 1,000 jobs. And so I would talk with them. And we would have some great conversations. And that's one of the things I notice about them. When you see that very beautiful woman, just talk to them. Because let's be real. See, a lot of guys will think, yeah, all these guys hitting on them. No, they're not. A lot of guys scared to talk to them. A lot of guys are nervous. You talk to them, you find out what's going on with them. In fact, they appreciate that. Like I said, as long as you're presentable. And shoot, sometimes when you might see that very beautiful woman with that average looking guy, he probably got to know her. He probably wasn't scared to talk to her. And that's very important. That is very, very important. But you can't make any assumptions. You see that beautiful woman, just say hi. Just approach, just be like, hey, how you doing? Now, this ain't saying she can't dislike you. She still got her choices. But one of the beautiful things with them is they either like you or they don't. They don't have to force anything. And that's a very important thing. They don't have to force anything. They ain't pressed. They probably ain't gonna play any games with you. They probably either like you or they don't. And yeah, they're gonna have different personalities. And here's something else to look at. You might not click with their personality. There are a couple very beautiful women I didn't get with. I remember I was with my co-parent, then wife at the time, and we saw this very beautiful woman at this function when I was doing some vending. And she asked me, she was like, you didn't hit that? I was like, nah. She was just very boring. See, sometimes they can be boring. Yeah, some guys get so caught up into it. See, here's the thing. You don't put that woman on a pedestal. You do not put that woman on a pedestal. Yeah, she got some great genetics, but she could be into anything. She could be into the exact same thing. And more than other women, they will look for that guy that they can click with mentally, because it's hard for them. In fact, you'd be surprised how many of those very beautiful women, they don't have a man. Because a lot of guys, they'll get the, shall we say, lower hanging fruit. Despite what guys say. Yeah, they'll say they want that beautiful woman, but they ain't going to necessarily always go for her. They ain't going to always go for her out of fear, or they thinking, oh, well, she got a bunch of guys, or she won't go. You don't know. Yeah, she could reject you, or she could accept you. You can't make any assumptions. In fact, I would say that's why when I talk about the dating principle, because even in my book, Nice Guys and Players, I say if you see that woman, she's very attractive, go for it anyway. The most she can say is no. At least you thinking about it. Because, come on now. There's some very beautiful women that you still think about. There's one I met I saw. Me and my cousin saw in San Diego years ago. We talking like 2018, 2019. I'm still thinking about it. I say, we should have said something. So even Rom, it just wasn't a good position. But yeah, we saw it. It's like, just say hi. You don't know what she like. In fact, she might have been checking you out. But you ain't going to know. But if you assume like, oh, well, she won't get with me, or she got all these guys or anything, you hurting yourself. Don't hurt yourself in the game. All right? So anyway, though, like I said, don't make those assumptions. You don't know until you say something to her. You might be surprised. You don't know what she like. And look, like I said, she could have been a swan. She might have a lot of guys that don't say anything, because there's something else too, because a lot of guys get caught up in that body count thing. If there's one thing I learned with women, I can get a general idea about their body count just being around them, talking with them. And that's a trick in itself. I'll think about doing something on that. You can always get an idea, a general idea. Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. All right? Because you can always get something. But I'll just say, well, I don't know. I'll say this right now. If you get a woman and she's very beautiful, but maybe you see her by herself a lot, or guys acting like they can't say anything, one, she'd probably be open for you talking to her just regular. Two, she might not have that high body count because guys are scared to talk to her. All right? So I want y'all to think about all of those things. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I'll get back with y'all. Peace.